Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the most pressing stories from around the world. This deal, facilitated by international mediators, aims to bring an end to the conflict that has ravaged the eastern part of the country for years. The conflict in the DRC is complex, with multiple armed groups vying for control over the region's rich mineral resources. The M23 rebels have been a key player in this conflict, and their relationship with neighboring Rwanda has been a point of contention. While Rwanda has denied backing the M23, many international observers believe that Kigali has significant influence over the group. The peace agreement signed recently outlines a roadmap for the implementation of a ceasefire, the release of detainees, and the initiation of political reforms. However, analysts warn that turning this agreement into action will be a significant challenge. The presence of multiple armed groups in the area, deep-seated mistrust between Kinshasa and Kigali, and competition over mineral wealth all pose substantial obstacles to lasting peace. For civilians caught in the crossfire, the prospect of peace brings hope but also skepticism. Thousands have been displaced, and many have lost loved ones or seen their livelihoods destroyed. The restoration of state authority and the management of mineral resources are critical to rebuilding communities and ensuring that ordinary Congolese people become safer and better off. As we consider the implications of this peace agreement, it's essential to approach the situation with a nuanced understanding of the complexities involved. We must acknowledge the concerns of all parties and recognize the challenges that lie ahead. The international community will play a crucial role in maintaining pressure on the parties to uphold their commitments and in supporting the implementation of the agreement. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the latest developments in international relations, where the United States has announced plans to impose what it calls an economic D-Day on Iran. This move comes as part of an effort to force Iran back into negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for global oil trade. To understand the context, let's break it down. The U.S. already has extensive sanctions in place against Iran, which have significantly impacted the country's economy. Despite these existing measures, the Trump administration is now threatening to take further action, targeting not just businesses, but also governments that provide any form of economic lifeline to Iran. The question on everyone's mind is how this will affect countries like China, which has been a major buyer of Iranian oil. While Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent hinted at the importance of China in this equation, he stopped short of explicitly stating whether China would face sanctions under these new pressures. Experts argue that adding more sanctions to an already struggling Iranian economy might not yield the desired results. Iran's leadership is now controlled by ideological hardliners who prioritize survival over economic relief. The U.S., on the other hand, has less at stake and may be perceived as unwilling to offer genuine sanctions, relief, further entrenching distrust. It's a complex situation with no clear outcome in sight. As the world watches, one thing is certain. The consequences of these actions will be felt far beyond the borders of Iran and the United States. Welcome back to the show. We're closing out today's episode of Concrete Block with a fascinating story about a heated debate over who owns the resources on the ocean floor. The United States is making a unilateral claim to these resources, but not everyone agrees that it has the right to do so. At the center of this controversy is a company called the Metals Company, which is exploring the collection and processing of polymetallic nodules on the seafloor. These nodules are rich in valuable materials like nickel, copper, cobalt, and manganese. However, the International Seabed Authority, China, and France are all questioning the U.S.'s authority to issue mining permits in these waters. On the other hand, we have MP Materials, a company that operates the only active rare earth mining and processing site of scale in North America. They have a significant advantage over the Metals Company, with existing mining and processing capabilities and major agreements with the Department of Defense, General Motors, and Apple. The debate raises important questions about national security, supply chains, and the future of rare earth mining. While the Metals Company is looking to carve out its place in the deep-sea mining space, it faces significant legal hurdles and technical challenges. Meanwhile, MP Materials is well positioned to help the U.S. meet its needs immediately and will likely grow into an even larger player in the industry. As we consider the implications of this story, it's essential to approach the topic with a fair and balanced perspective. The outcome of this debate will have far-reaching consequences for the environment, national security, and the global economy. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.